This is the first lesson of Chapter 9. Some of this stuff may already be familiar to you because you've learned it in the past, but that's okay. It's always good to review. We're going to do a bunch of definitions and just build on our vocabulary for geometry. Everything starts with a point. A point is a location in space. It is, all right, it already says location. It is a specific location in space. How about that? It doesn't have any dimension. It is simply, here is the point, right? We mark it with a capital letter. It looks like this. You're going to love this. This is a point, and we label it with any capital letter. I'm going to label it A because it's the start of the alphabet and also the start of my name. All right. Now, if you have a collection of points, you start creating points in a line. I'm just going to sort of draw over here. So I've got a couple of points, and then I start breaking it down in between these two, and then in between these two, and just keep doing this, putting points in between. All of a sudden, you have a set of points that almost look connected because they're so close together, and it creates a line. Ooh, that is a terrible line. Okay, I'm going to get my shapes out. You create a line. Just so everyone knows, this is the first time actually recording a lesson from my car. Wow, I feel like I'm in a different age here. Now, lines are a series of connected points which extend forever in both directions, opposite directions actually, and that's why I have arrows on the end to show that it's going to continue in opposite directions forever. To determine a line, you must have 2 points because that determines which way the line goes. I drew a line horizontally, but these 2 points would determine a line that goes this way. So that's why it takes 2 points to determine a line, because it helps you know which direction that line is going in. The word collinear, if 2 points are on a line, they're linear. So if you have 2 or more points falling on the same line, co means together, they are collinear. Line segment is basically a piece of a line. So a collection of points with a starting and an ending point named by the endpoints. It's awkward. My car is unlocking right now. I think I have to pause this. Okay, that was just my husband unlocking my car while I'm sitting in it. It's weird around here. Collection of points starting. Okay, so basically you're taking this line that extends endlessly in both directions and just taking a small piece of it, some section of it. Looks like this. Okay, but instead of having arrows on the end of it, I actually have endpoints. So there's the point that ends that one, and there's the point that ends that one. I would call this, I can name this point A and this point B. So we're going to actually name this a line segment AB. Looks like this. And then you put a little line segment symbol on top of it, and that's how you would name line segment AB. Speaking of which, up here in the line, every single spot on here is a point, so you can pick 2, any 2 you want, and label them. Let's call them XZ, just to be different. Okay. So then I always put a line in my Z's so no one confuses them to look like 2s. So if I wanted to name this line, I would name it XZ. And above it, I'm going to actually move that down because I know. Can you guys hear the national anthem playing in the background? This is crazy. All right, so I'm going to put a line with 2 arrows over the top. And if you watched the video yesterday, you saw that in the Math Antics video. That's what we would say line XZ. Okay. A ray is also a segment of a line, except it only extends in one direction. So we take one of the points on the line, make it an endpoint, and then extend in one direction. And then any of these points in here can be selected. I can make them really close if I want to. We'll call this point C and this point D. And the notation that you would use to name a ray would be CD with a little segment with 1 arrow on the end. And that's how we would determine that that was ray CD. Now, if you take 2 rays and put them together, here's a ray, and here's a ray, right? These are extending endlessly in one direction. We now have an angle. So we get an angle when 2 rays share a starting point, which we will call the vertex. I'm waving to a past 7th grade student right now who probably thinks I'm nuts because I am recording a lesson. Okay, it's hard to record in a parking lot because people want to talk to you. I actually find this really entertaining. So we're going to talk more about angles, but I can pick out points here. This point right here is super important because it's where those 2 rays meet. So I'm going to call that, what should we call it? A, B, C, D, E. Let's call it point F just for fun. I don't usually use E because capital E I think means energy or something in science. So, and I'll just be super boring and call this A. And you know what? Let's call this M. It can be FAM. All right. So what we do here when we want to name is angle, which we're going to talk more extensively about this, but we put the angle symbol, angle, and then we name it by 3 points. The vertex has to be in the middle. So this is angle AFM. All right. Awesome. Boy, a lot of definitions. But as you can see, geometry I love because it's building. So we started with a point. A set of points extending in opposite directions endlessly is a line. A piece of the line with endpoints is a segment. A piece of the line extending in one direction is a ray. And if you put 2 rays together, you have an angle. So I really love geometry because it all just makes a lot of sense to me. All right, so here's the angles I was talking about. Points A, B, and C are shown below. Use a straight edge or whatever you have to try and make this sort of straight. To draw rays AB, in all honesty, this AB should have a little arrow right there, and this AC should have a little arrow right there. Very picky about this stuff. All right, so I'm going to make ray AB like this. And I'm going to make ray AC like this. And because they're rays, I'm going to put arrows on the ends of them because rays extend endlessly in one direction. Now I can name this angle, give 3 different ways you can name this angle. You can name a single angle that's sitting by itself simply by the vertex. So I'm going to name this angle A. That's the angle symbol right there. If I didn't put an angle symbol in front of it, it would just be a point, right? But now I know I'm talking about an angle. So math is a language and all of these symbols mean something to us. We also use 3 letters to name an angle. You have to, wherever you start, you can't pick up your pencil. So I'm going to start at C and follow to A, B. So I'm going to call this angle C, A, B, and I can go back the other way, angle B, A, C. But I can't start at A because then I wouldn't be able to, I would have to pick up my pencil to get to the other point. So you can't do that. All right. So there's 3 different ways to name that angle. Let's look at this diagram. Why can we not say angle A as the name, or angle E, sorry, as the name of this angle? Why can't I just say angle E? Well, I hope you're thinking in your head because there are 2 angles, not angels, angles with E as, the vertex, with E as the vertex. All right, so that's why we can't just say E when you have more than one angle there. But we can use our 3-number system, name the three angles, shown in there. So we're going to do angle, there's a huge angle, FEH. Can you see that one? I'm going to get my, I'm talking really loud. I don't know why. FEH is this large angle here. Okay, for some reason I can't highlight that. Oh, that was weird. Never mind. I'll just go to here. So the big angle is FEH, like this. And then there's 2 smaller angles in there. There's angle FEG, and there's angle GEH. So there's 2 other smaller angles that actually make up the large angle. Okay. Hope you can see that. So now I'm going to give you some time. Why don't you just pause this, and then you can unpause it and check with me. Give 3 acceptable ways to name the angle below. Go ahead and pause and give that a shot right now. All right, so this is a single angle by itself, so we can just call this angle B. Okay, I just realized I can write with my finger. Whew. And then we can start with angle ABC. Oh, that's so much easier. And we can start down here and go angle CBA. I mean, it's not neat, but it's way easier. All right, so there we go. So now let's talk about classifying these angles. And these are things I really think you guys have heard before. A right angle has 90 degrees. It looks, because right angles are important, I'm going to use my drawing tool here and here. And right angles always should be delineated with a little box in the corner. I'm going to try really hard to do that. That little box tells me that I have a right angle, a 90-degree angle. You can't just say, oh, it looks like a 90-degree angle. No, that's not how it works. You have to look for that little box because math is a language, right? Acute angles are less than 90. You're going to write much smaller than me, right? So acute angles look more like this. They're just cute little angles. So cute. Cute little angle. And then obtuse angles are more than 90 degrees. That's a little better. And they look like this. Obtuse, really big. This distance here is bigger than 90. It's very large. And then a straight angle is 180 degrees. And that, I'm going to do something weird here, but that looks like this. Okay, where you have a point somewhere in the middle. So you've got a ray going this way to the right and a ray going this way to the left, and it's 180 degrees. If you actually do this, you draw one of those like protractor shapes, and that's 180 degrees. Right, and now you can just spend some time just kind of playing around with that, draw and label using the 3-letter system, one of each type of angle, and then just kind of check yourself up above You're all going to have different looking angles with different letters. Maybe use your initials or something fun. But I'm sure that your teacher can check that out. And then I'd like you to do lesson 1 practice homework. So that's in your packet, lesson 1 homework. All right, I miss you guys, and I'll be back tomorrow. I'm just doing some interviews today for when Mrs. All leaves. So we're all good. Bye.